Hi guys, it's Mitch here, just coming on to do November's tarot scope reading for you all. Can't believe, I say this every time, don't I, but I can't believe we're into November, just 2 months left of this year. Oh my god, it's crazy. I'm still buzzing from the weekend for those that came to see me at the Witches Market and the evening demo of Mediumship. So if you did come along, if you supported that, thank you very much. It was amazing. So lush and so lovely to be back in the energy and to see so many beautiful people. Right then, let's see what magic November time has in store for us all. So as ever, I'll be working with the Enreathal Visions Tarot, which is my trusty deck that I sort of work with, by Matt Hughes, and then we'll follow through with a oracle card to end the reading, and that is from the Blessed Be deck by Lucy Cavendish. So we'll have a little look and see what's in store. So how we'll sort of start then doing the reading, we'll do the first card will represent opportunities coming in for November time. The second card will be any obstacles, any things we need to be aware about. And card 3 will be any lessons, teachings or learnings. So let's have a look into November's energy. Let's just be aware as a collective what we need to be aware of. That's literally just sort of thrown itself at me. So that is our opportunities card. Interesting. Oops, right. And then let's have a little look at our obstacles. Any challenges, any obstacles we need to be aware of. Oops, that's come out. Oh, interesting times, guys. I think this maybe is warning us a little bit for some stuff here. Okay. I think it's that whole thing of like the ever kind of ongoing roller coaster of life. I feel like these two cards are saying buckle up, get ready. Not that anything bad is necessarily there, but just, you know, we're in a very topsy-turvy, a very sort of up and down time period of life at the moment as a collective. So it makes sense that sometimes certain cards are going to show up that will represent aspects of that. Okay, oops, and that's also fallen out. Okay, it's interesting, that last card keeps coming out lately. Right, let's go for it, let's brace ourselves. I'll do the oracle bit afterwards. Okay, so the opportunities that are coming in for us then, we're going into the Seven of Swords. Now, I always see the Seven of Swords as a card of sometimes taking on too much stuff. So when we look at this in terms of opportunities, I always think what was going on here and what's happening is actually it's looking at stuff and it's being able to acknowledge what do we really need to be holding, what do we really need to be part of. So it might be that these two swords on the floor, they represent your energies. That might be something that you need to stay grounded, to invest in. But it might be that some of us are holding on to quite high expectations, challenges or obstacles, or other influences coming out from an external source that actually aren't ours in the first place. So these swords that this person in the card is holding, he's not just holding the swords, it's like he's holding them from the blade and he's trying to collect them up, he's trying to grab them all nice and quickly, and it's almost like he's running the risk of hurting himself, of cutting himself open. He's not even holding them from the handle, he's holding them from the blade. He's taking a bit of a chance, he's taking a bit of a risk, almost like it is like taking on too much. So the fact that this is coming in as an opportunities card, I think there's an acknowledgement here about some of us having that light bulb moment and being like, actually, I know this isn't working or this isn't serving me, and I'm going to make a change. I'm actively going to change this part of my story, this part of my life, and I'm not actually going to be conditioned by anything that is holding me back. Now that could be physical people in your life that maybe you've outgrown. It could be circumstances, situations you find yourself in, could be within the working life, could be within your home life, could be in other aspects of your world. But it's a real important time for you to look at the truth of everything, because within this card, this is very truthful energy. And it's almost like you can either kid yourself and sort of almost be a little bit almost overconfident, or you can actually look at it for what it is and think, do you know what, I need to actually make some adjustments. So that's what is basically coming in for a lot of us for November, the opportunity to know we can make these adjustments if we need to, and it can be okay. Now, as we're kind of moving into card 2, we're going into any obstacles or any challenges or any blockages. I did give these a really good shuffle, guys, as you can see, but we got the 8 of Swords. So 8 of Swords is feeling trapped, feeling restricted, feeling a little bit bound. So again, that could be with a physical matter, could be within the home, a relationship, a friendship, a family dynamic. So when we look at this in terms of obstacles, some of us might find ourselves being a little bit almost overwhelmed, or I don't want to say incarcerated, because that sounds really sort of like, you know, heavy, but there is a feeling of entrapment and binding with this card. Now, I think what we've got going on here is almost like some of us maybe are going to be feeling this way because of what this is about. And for some of us that maybe take ownership of this, they can remove the bindings, but some people maybe will have an acknowledgement for this, but they won't want to act upon it. And if you don't want to act upon the changes to set yourself free, what may come to be for you is this as an obstacle card. Because if you're not wanting to perhaps expand your vision, your focus, if you're not perhaps wanting to pull off the blindfold and see the truth of something, ultimately you're going to run the risk of staying stuck or a little bit kind of, you know, held back. So to me, this is about breaking free from those judgments, those criticisms, those expectations. They're very much similar in some ways, yet different, you know, but they're sort of working together, I feel. You know, don't sort of live your life for somebody else's convenience or for somebody else's story. Live life on your terms. I had somebody the other day, in a sort of jokey way, but semi-serious, they were sort of like putting down my jacket, and they said, "Oh, did you actually wear that in the end?" And they were only joking in a way, but I was like, yeah, I wore my blazer on my demo night, and yes, it did sparkle, yes, it did shine. It had sort of rhinestone spiders and cobwebs all over it, and I felt bloody fabulous in it. Now, there may have been some people on the night or in the room that thought, bloody hell, look at him, who does he think he is, you know? And I don't care, because I wear my energy, physical energy, as well as my clothing, with pride. And if someone is, you know, a little bit focused on wanting to sort of pull somebody down for an aspect of what they're wearing, or because, you know, they're being a certain way, the energy block is with them, not yourself. You know, if they're going to be threatened by something that you're doing, let it go over your head. So this is really about not being sort of held back by anybody's ignorance in a way, you know. And I think there's a lot of that in the world. There has been, and it is part of life. There is ignorance in the world, and we need it in some ways to move forward and to be able to learn lessons, and sometimes to remind ourselves of our own independent, authentic energy. So I think there's some of that coming in for us as well. So these are really interesting cards for November. Now, the lessons, we've got the World. The World keeps showing up lately for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. The World is about kind of embracing life to its fullest, to its best, but it's also about completion of cycles. So something is ending, something's coming to fruition, and a new cycle, a new focus can begin. What better time to receive this card of the World, with us just having Samhain and Halloween, which is the official Witches' New Year. So it is a completion of cycles, it is a completion of endings and new beginnings. And the great thing with the World, she can sing and dance to the rhythm of her tune, to her own magic. She doesn't compromise what she's about, she doesn't limitate herself for others. She makes her world work on her own terms. So I think the cycles, the teachings, the lessons of this card, with these two as well, these are the sort of the inputs and the outputs, the behaviours of what we might go through, what we might experience, what we might be up against. This might already be currently happening, and you might be at the point of just making a change, or it might play out further on in November for some of us. But don't be limited by these. Have the ability to expand your wings, to grow, to flourish, to live the world in the way you want it to be received, because it's available if you want it to be. So those are really interesting cards. I hope you can make sense of them, because I feel like there's quite a definite message there to me. What we'll do, we'll finish off with a beautiful blessings card from the Oracle deck, and we'll sort of see what this has, and this will be like a conclusion message really. So let's just have a little look and see for November time. I'll know when because it'll just pop out. A blessing on your sleep. Now that's really interesting. It can be physical sleep in the sense that some of us maybe need to just go deeper, but I actually see sleep as well energetically about turning off, or it is laying certain things to rest. So any hurts, any restrictions, anything that can't really be changed. Sometimes we find ourselves up against people, circumstances or situations that don't want to acknowledge, they don't want to change how they are, and so it is almost like, you know, turning them to sleep. So a blessing on your sleep is interesting, and also sleep gives us a lot of our thinking time. It's where the subconscious mind kicks in. It's often where we have connections with the spirit world, and you've got the wise owl here, so this is tapping into the energy of the wise owl, not getting caught up in reactivity. It's almost trying to keep a balanced life. I think sleep is wanting to bring balance in as well. So this is interesting. And if you've found that there have been restless nights, or if there's been overwhelmment in your mental mind, then moving forward for November, there's the opportunity to sleep a little bit deeper. For those that do struggle to sleep, lavender oil, either as a spray or just loosely on your temples or on your pillow, is a good way to help to sort of wind down and relax. But yeah, a blessing on sleep. And I also do see this as like almost sleeping or turning off things that you can't control, that you can't change. So again, it's some of like with some of these bindings and these restrictions up here, it's almost like, to me, she's like just moving away from that. She's sort of choosing to turn her back to this. So it's like an energetic sleep rather than like physically falling asleep. And again, you've got the half crescent moon, a time of new beginnings, new magic, by not giving away your power over there and investing back into self. So some really, really interesting cards here, guys. So I hope you can make sense of this. So just to very quickly recap, your opportunities card, don't take on things that don't belong to you in the first place. Have an awareness for stuff, help people out, support people. But if someone is expecting it or almost demanding that you give them more than they're entitled to, know it's okay to lay some of those swords down, or to say, no, I'm not going to do that. Time to find your voice a little bit there for some of you. With the obstacles, if you feel a little bit restricted, if you feel a little bit held back, if you feel a little bit consumed in maybe tunnel vision and can't see the wood for the trees, only you can save yourself. Only you can pull the blindfold off and acknowledge what needs to happen, however scary, however challenging you might feel it to be. It's remembering that you're stronger than the obstacle or the challenge or the problem in question, and you can get over this. And by doing that, you're choosing to actively invest in yourself, and this is about setting yourself free. The world is big, the world is huge, it wants to be explored, it wants to be experienced. So old cycles, old patterns are coming to a close, new opportunities, new beginnings, new magic to be had in all areas. And again, a blessing on sleep in many ways, I feel, with that. So going to leave this with you. Hope it resonates. Have an awesome November time, guys. Stay safe, stay well. I know that I'm going to be connecting with lots of you throughout the month at different venues and events, and also on Zoom, because November is pretty booked up for readings. Having said that, I do have some space, so if you would like a reading with me, remember I'm only doing those on Zoom or Facebook video chat, or at in-person events. I know that in November there's another day booked at Stallbridge, Spire Hill Therapy Centre. I believe it may have sold out, but keep an eye on a new date that will be coming in January. I'm also going to be at the Bardware of Frog Lane's Elder Hawk Spirit Fair, which is like a mind, body and soul fair up in Castle Combe. I do have spaces left for those, so you can come and see me there if you would like. Full details for all of these events are on my website, and if you're not sure, you can just drop me a message and say, where's the best place to come and see you? This is my location, or am I better doing it on Zoom or whatever, and we can get you booked in. But stay safe, stay well, and I'll see some of you lovelies very soon. Much love, bye for now.